What is going on, Movie Meals? Movie Meals is the TVA demands. The timeline says we will be here to review things late. But before we get into anything, I got a little surprise. Okay.
Oh,
Thank you to the Movie Meal patrons, Steve, Kimberly, and Karen. Guys, I got this thing right here. I'm gonna do a little unboxing here. We're gonna pop this bad boy open real quick.
are we that kind of channel now?
Also, you like Yodes?
I do like Yodes.
I'm not done with them. They didn't send me the one piece, the lightsaber, the thing that holds it all together. They didn't send it to me, so I had to order another one.
Okay.
I got in here something I got. Oh, if I can't get it out. Oh, here we go. All right. This is the first time I'm seeing this as well. Hang on.
I
Hang on to
don't
your
have
britches
any clue
here.
what this is.
Hang on to your britches, baby. What is this? You kidding me? What is this? I got it in a poster. Movie Meals. Summer's upon us. New logo we've worked on. Kyle worked on. It's incredible. It's available right now. It's all available. Go get it. I bought a poster. I got a poster. Have a tank top. Tank top I wore and then biked. So it's incredibly sweaty. But this bad boy, I mean, look at this thing. That's incredible. That's incredible. That's Kyle and I on an island watching TV.
No matter
That's
where
what we
are,
do in the summer. No matter where we
No
are.
matter
I
what
love
we-
it. The logo is awesome. I got the poster. It's going to go up on the wall back here. I'm going to rearrange some stuff once I get a frame, but I thought I'd surprise you with it here. Guys, the merch is awesome. Go check it out. Look, the promo code stuff sale is over. There's Father's Day stuff available. Thanks for watching, Dad. But the new logo, trying something bold, trying something different is available. Kyle did a great job designing it. So go get that. All linked in the description. I can't wait to get it in a frame and get it up back there. I just got it the other day. Finally got here. Thought this would be a perfect time. But let's get into Loki now. Let's get into Loki.
Yeah.
All things spoiler after show. Kyle, what did you think episode 2?
I dug it. I liked what I saw. I liked the idea of seeing Loki still trying to do his normal thing of trying to trick people, trying to gain power for himself, but yet he also is kind of enjoying being a time traveling detective. Like, it seems like he's kind of in this weird in between where he's like, I want power, but this gig's kind of fun. I'm enjoying trying to catch myself. Like, they're trying to catch another Loki, which we'll probably get into later. But I kind of like it. And it just gives me more comfort in seeing that we're going to see a different progression of Loki, the character, going throughout this show as compared to what we've seen with his progression before. But not just in terms of like what type of setting he's in, but also just on the different themes and the interpersonal dilemmas that go on within the character as well. But I was enjoying him throughout this episode. We didn't really talk about Owen Wilson in the show enough, I don't think, but he's really good. I think he's a really good addition to work alongside Tom Hiddleston's Loki as well. And they definitely have opened a can of worms for a lot of different possibilities and probably a lot of different theories that we're gonna go back and forth on. But I think it keeps going, and it keeps going in a really good direction. I still am enjoying as much of this show as what I did with the first episode.
Yeah, I loved this second episode. I think this show is outstanding. Marvel does it again. I liked the twist. We all kind of were expecting to see Tom Hiddleston be, play 2 roles here. I like the twist. A female Loki, I think, is really cool. I don't know any of the comics. I don't know if this is a character, if this is a version of Loki we've had before. I have none of that. I just like the kind of the way they handled it, what we're doing. I like that. It sounds like she's going straight for the timekeepers to take him out. And I like that Loki joined. You thought when this show aired that this was going to be, I don't know how many episodes this is supposed to be, but, do you know?
I believe 6. I've heard 6.
So if it's 6 episodes, your thought was, okay, we're going to spend 6 episodes doing this detective thing, trying to figure out where this other Loki is. That's not what it is at all. We got 4 more episodes then where it's not that. And I really like this episode doing the detective work. I loved his whole figuring out the doomsday thing. I loved his analogy with the salad. I thought that was hysterical. And then just to have him in Pompeii, like the second I saw the volcano and like, you know, the people dressed in old kind of ancient outfits, I was immediately like, oh, that's Pompeii. That's awesome. And him jumping around being like, your life is meaningless. You're all about to die. I'm a god. Like, it's just, it was so funny. I thought it was really good humor. Owen Wilson, I have never been a big fan of, but you know, some roles I think he does well in, most I really struggle with, but I'm loving him in this. I think he does a wonderful job. I really like the banter they have back and forth. I really liked the conversation with Loki, both Lokis when she is manipulating different people and it rotates through the 3 different people. I really, really liked that scene. With them picking this hurricane that, you know, hit or whatever the state it was that wiped out a bunch of people. Although it was funny, they were like in the 1990s or like 50s or something like that. And they had like a hologram on the side of that store. And
it was 2050.
Oh, they're in the future?
Yeah, because they made a point that they're trying to find her within a certain time frame between like 2040 something and 2050 something.
I guess I just heard it incorrectly because I remember when they went there, I was like, why on earth does this look so furistic? I thought we were in the 1990s or something, the 1950s.
Right.
But good clarification there for me. But yeah, man, this episode was fun. Do you have anything else you want to?
I want to talk about how existential this show is starting to become for me, because it was at this conversation between Loki and Mobius, where Hiddleston's like, so you just are going along with all this? You think timekeepers are real? That you're just accepting what's happening in your life? You're just okay with doing this? And he's like,
yeah,
well, sure. I mean, it's all pretty crazy when you think about it. I mean, for crying out loud, you're a god that was born from frost giants. And I'm just some dude who the timekeepers created. I mean, when you think about it, living is really weird. And I'm like, living and existing is really weird. Like, and I really like that this show is doing this, where it's not necessarily essential to the overall story of the show, but it's at least a little something extra to where you can like sit back and think about it. Like, we're at this point where, you know, comic book movies and like this genre can go there, like it, but it's not prevalent to the story either. Like, it can just give you those ideas and give you those conversations of like existentialism and like, what does the universe all mean and this and that. And you know, like I said, it may not be that prevalent, but it still gave me a moment where I was like, oh yeah, it all is weird. And it's all weird and we might as well just go with it. Like, he makes a good point. And that's what I really have been digging about this show. And going back to what you were saying about female Loki, there is female Loki in the comics, Lady Loki. And I'm wondering if it is her or if it's another character by the name of the by the name of the Enchantress, or if it's like a combination of both, because I feel like, even though, I mean, look, it could work for the story to have it be revealed that it's Loki, but a girl. But I also could see it to where it's a bait and switch type situation, and it turns out to be maybe like a combination of the 2 characters, and maybe it turns out to be Enchantress, and maybe she's working for herself or for someone else. I'm not too sure at this point, but I wouldn't be too shocked if they're pulling something else with this character from us out from under the rug. You know what I mean? So I could kind of see it being like a case of those 3. What about you?
Well, I don't know anything about these comic characters. I feel like you need to go take a sabbatical in the woods. You've got some deep crises going on here. You've got some things to think about. Yeah, I really liked that scene where they were talking about everything and Loki kind of questioning everything with Mobius kind of responding back to him. But for
Yeah.
the Loki stuff, yeah, I just don't know. I like this idea of a different Loki, whether it's just a different multiverses Loki or not, I think works. The fact that we're ending with something that, like, this episode ended with something that felt like should have been in the penultimate episode, right? Like the
Yeah.
crisis is going nuts,
Yeah.
and it didn't, which I just don't know what else the show is gonna do, and it makes me so excited. We've gotten to
Totally.
the point, like, WandaVision, it was just, we had every theory around every corner. Falcon and Winter
Mhm.
Soldier, it felt like we cut that in half, and now it's like I'm just sitting back and riding this wave out. Like there's not a whole lot. Maybe it's just because I'm not a deep nerd about the comics, but I'm not really sure where they're gonna go. I really liked her like helmet, her like mini version crown of his giant horns.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I thought that looked really cool. Did you recognize that actress? She looked really familiar to me, but I couldn't place it. I
No.
probably need to see more of her in these upcoming episodes. I like that Loki went with her. I think Loki will. There's going to be a moment where he goes back to the TVA and he's like, look, the whole point of me going was to follow her. Like, if I had stayed with you, there's going to have, that
You
moment's going to
seem
come up.
conflicted. You
Yeah.
seem conflicted. Yeah.
But the right move, I think, is to follow her. But I don't.
Mhm.
It's just so crazy because Loki's gonna backstab at some point. I loved the whole thing where he's like, "Look, I literally know your life inside and out, and all you do is backstab people." So,
But it gets
yet
so
they're
old.
still trusting him. Yeah, I want to know more about the woman who's in charge of the TVA. Like, I want to know more of what's going on with her. She grabbed her staff and is ready to go duke it out. That made me really excited, and I really hope we get timekeepers next episode. I'm ready for the timekeepers. They are building them up, and if we don't meet them, the show made a mistake, I think, and I think we will meet them.
Hmm.
And I'm really excited to do that because I think
Interesting.
we should. And I think this next episode might just open with them there. It seemed like that's where she was going, was she was going to try and kill him.
Sure.
Was her
Yeah.
goal, and if she does that, I had this thought when she was
I have
convincing Loki
thoughts
to
too.
go with her, because a lot of this episode talked about, he said it a bunch where he's like, chaos is cool. Like, that's the fun of it. And if that's Loki's whole thing, is having chaos instead of order, the best way to have chaos is to destroy the sacred timeline and let a million timelines fight each other. That is the perfect thing. So if her goal is to go kill them, to make sure that this thing she started, this rippling of all these time
Mhm.
effects and timelines happens, then I think that makes sense for the character of Loki. That would be what we all thought was going to happen in WandaVision. That's how you get this Spider-Man movie we're supposed to have, with him jumping around timelines and things like that. So this could be an Avengers type threat. If this timeline is ripped open, maybe that's the next Avengers movie, is they all got to get together and figure out how to stop the timeline, whether that's through Kang the Conqueror or not. But it opens up possibilities. What are you thinking?
I don't think you're far off because, well, I think there is something to what you're saying about the timelines and it connecting to the multiverse somehow. Because towards the end of the show, we see that one agent that was kidnapped at the beginning of the episode. They find her, and all she can say is like, "It's real, it's real." And at first, I was like, "Who is she talking about?" But the more I think about it, the more is that it doesn't sound like she's talking about any sort of person. She's saying it's. She's not saying he or she, nothing like that. So I wonder if maybe she somehow witnessed this Lady Loki or whatever her name is, if she witnessed her like opening the multiverse, or at least has witnessed a multiverse of some kind.
Well, she
And
also said a line where she said she gave away the timekeeper's location.
she said that too. So maybe
Yeah.
she's also, maybe she also witnessed where the timekeepers are. Because my thinking of it was that, similar to the timekeepers being like these godlike beings that you've never witnessed before, I figured that the multiverse was also this godlike event that you've never witnessed necessarily, because their job is to maintain one singular timeline. So for me, in her position, her witnessing something like the multiverse would be something wild that you just could never fathom, but she somehow like witnessed it. So that was my thinking in terms of what she was saying. And to me, that doesn't seem far off from what you were saying about like maybe this is the connection that's going to happen throughout the rest of the MCU.
Does she say it's real? Is that what
Yeah,
she says?
I'm
It's
pretty
real.
sure. Yeah.
Cause I mean they did talk about, like, I'm just thinking from the character's perspective, like they have the videos that Loki watched where it's like there used to be a bunch of timelines fighting each other. So like I
Mhm.
think the idea of that happening for the characters, I think all makes sense. I think they know that this could happen. But I don't know. Maybe I don't know what it means. And that's what I love. I don't know. I have nothing to add to
I
your
could be
thing.
absolutely wrong. Yeah.
And you might be making a great point. It might be that she's just freaking out because she is about to, maybe she saw, there was a lot of talk in this episode too of like, what's the end? I want to know the end of time. What happens at the end of time or the beginning of time?
Yeah.
What happened? Maybe she witnessed that. Maybe that's where this Loki went to, was the beginning of time in that apocalypse, if it's going to be an apocalypse. And maybe this is the end of time. We get no Marvel after
Maybe.
this. We start
Yeah.
over.
It just ends. All the other movies were a lie.
So there's this, and then we've got Black Widow in a couple weeks, and then we have the Miss Marvel show. Correct? Is the next thing coming out? And then Hawkeye.
Is it not Hawkeye? Maybe it is Ms. Marvel. I don't know.
It's one of those two, though, right? Those two are
Yeah.
next. It's one of those two, whether they're first or second. But the next, what's the next movie?
Shang-Chi.
Is it Spider? Oh, Shang-Chi at the end of the year. Okay, but that's
or
an origin
Shang-Chi,
story.
excuse me. That's how it's pronounced. Shang-Chi. Yeah.
Shang-Chi. So that takes place later, like in the past of where we're at the MCU, right? I believe so. I don't think it takes place.
I think it's within
the
like the 5-year blip.
Okay.
I think.
So is Spider-Man the next thing that takes place at this current time? When Loki, I guess Loki's happening in the past. Loki, when is Loki happening? Time is messed up.
Anytime.
Yeah, Marvel worked really hard to be like, all right, this is our rules we set up for time travel. And then Loki came in and just shatters them. And it's like, no, this isn't the rules. This is actually how the time works. And I'm going to rip it open and it's going to go cuckoo for coconuts. Maybe this is the next Avengers level threat. Maybe we get the Avengers versus the mutants. Maybe we bring everybody back. Marvel's in charge now. Anything else on this episode you want to talk about?
I'm suspicious about the timekeepers. You're saying that we're gonna you hope that we see them in the next episode. I don't know if we will. In fact, I don't even know if the timekeepers are real.
They do kind of hint at it that they might not be real when she says she's never even met them.
Exactly. Or I thought she did meet them. Maybe not then.
I swear she had a line where she was like, even I haven't met them, to her like herself after Mobius left.
Okay, that could be it then. But even still, like, despite how Mobius is like cool with everything, he still kind of annoys his boss about it. Like there was a moment where he's like, hey, so what about the timekeepers? How are your buddies doing? Like he keeps asking about them and she just shrugs it off. And I'm like, are they pulling something out from under the rug where it's like timekeepers aren't real? Like it's all a mystery. Time, I don't know. But I'm also kind of thinking like that Kang theory is being one of the timekeepers. I'm starting to kind of buy it a bit more.
No, they don't look anything like the character.
No,
I'm done with you.
No. But listen though, during that same conversation between Mobius and her boss, he does say it's probably a throwaway line. It probably is. But he does say the line of, hey, that timekeeper kind of looks like, and then she cuts him off. And I'm like, is that a throwaway line or is that something to do with Kang? And then immediately, like the next scene is the giant statues of the timekeepers. And like it shows like the middle one's face like really prominently. And I'm like, maybe that does look like that actor. And look, I only by a smidge. Only by a smidge am I buying this theory. I remembered it because it was like the most throwaway line that was supposed to be some sort of joke, but in the back of my head, like coming up with all these theories, I'm like, it must mean something. But
I picture you leaning back in your couch, then all of a sudden being Leo in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and you're like, hey, you like sit up and point.
On point. On point with what I did. Again, it's probably nothing, and I'm probably buying into a theory that is not even close to true, but in this one episode, I was like,
I might be
little more
wrong, and it
curious.
might have been Mobius that says he's never met them, and not the like head of the of the TVA. But
Yeah.
I think what is really likely is they are traveling to the timekeeper spot, whether it's this episode or next, but they're dead. And they pop on, like, they find skeletons or something of them. I wonder if that's what it is, and that the TVA has just lived on forever. And like, that was the whole point of the TVA, is that these guys knew that at some point they were going to die, and that it did happen. Or maybe, somebody killed them, and Kane killed them. But I think that's more likely. And that's a twist I think Marvel would
Mm,
do, where it's like they build up these characters and all of a sudden it's like, no, they're actually dead. And that's why the head of the TVA is like really freaking out this is happening, because they don't actually have an all-powerful 3 beings that can fix this, right? Like, they have to fix it or it's going to be complete chaos.
I do
That's
like
kind
that
of what
more.
that's kind of where my head went. I mean, Kang the Conqueror, I think, is still possible. I just don't see him being a timekeeper, especially because that would
Yeah.
be such a deviation from his comic character.
Yeah.
Because after our last episode, your boy sat down and did a little bit of YouTube research. And so I just don't know if that would work as well. But I think you didn't drink the Kool-Aid for like 9 episodes of Falcon or of WandaVision that Reed Richards was going to show up. And then you're drinking this Kool-Aid way fast, my guy. You need to slow down.
I know. I know.
You're
I
mean to
felt
Reed Richards, but you're losing it over Kang the Conqueror.
leading up to us filming this, I was like, I'm becoming one of them. I think it's Mephisto. I thought it was Mephisto this whole time in this show.
Remember the Amazing Spider-Man 2 where we took screenshots of the trailer and zoomed in like a crap ton to see what the names were on that monitor?
A simpler time.
COVID has made us go back to that. We're getting back to
Yes.
that level of crazy cuckoo theories.
Yes. Yes.
Guys in the comments, please comment on all this. I'm curious your thoughts on what you think will happen for moving forward in this show. But do you have anything else you want to touch on here, or should we wrap up?
Yeah, I'm just very curious on who exactly this Lady Loki character is, or is it the Enchantress? I'm still kind of wondering if that's the
You
case.
keep saying that, and the only Enchantress I know is in one of the worst DC movies ever. So they need a new name, because that's all I'm associating that name with, and it didn't go well because it was all the gooby gup dancing.
Oh,
Cara
Suicide
Delevingne
Squad.
did.
Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
Jeez, I had that out of my brain. Fair enough, but
Well,
it
I
could
put
just
it
be a
back in your
combination
brain.
of. It could just be a combination of those characters. Even I don't know. It probably is Lady Loki, and I'm reading too much into who this character could be. But I'm just curious to see like the role she's playing in this. Is there someone that's manipulating her, or is this like her plan all along, or is she actually a good guy? Or
I hope it's her
what was
plan.
it?
I hope it's her
I think
plan.
that.
And if
Yeah,
she's a
I wouldn't mind that.
Loki, then she's an anti-hero. She'll
Yeah.
jump from both sides of the fence. And that's what makes this fun. 2 of them together is going to be fun.
Yeah, I hope that actress
Here's
does
the
a good
thing.
job too.
Are we going to get some weird messed up romance between Loki to Loki?
Do we want that?
I don't know. Tune in next week to find out.
Yeah, tune in next week. We come back and we're like,
This is a weird subject. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in to the Loki After Show here. What are you thinking of the show? Comment below. Let us know. Remember to like, subscribe, share, do all that amazing stuff. Thank you to the Movie Meal patrons. Go be a member of the Patreon, guys. Remember this tease at the beginning. This new merch logo. Oh my gosh. You can get everything from posters to shirts to tanks to stickers to phone cases. Go join and help us and join. This logo is awesome. Go get it. Go get some of that merch. All linked in the description. And as always, thank you for watching, Mom.
See you guys.